Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And I want to talk today about something that's kind of personal, and I probably would have never talked about it until now when I came through my personal development journey, especially over the last couple years. But I want to talk about the bridezilla that absolutely changed my life and what the law of attraction really taught me. So it was 2012, and I had the worst client of my life, a bridezilla that was so difficult, so demanding, so absolutely exhausting that she literally made me stop doing cakes for an entire year. No joke. Or wedding cakes, I should say. I did some birthday cakes that year. But here's the plot twist. She was the best thing that actually ever happened to me. And I want you to stay with me, because by the end of the video, you're going to kind of look at everything, hopefully, differently. And you're going to look at every difficult person in your life differently. Okay. So, welcome back. If you don't know, I'm Jennifer. If you're new here, I'm a luxury cake designer, Food Network Challenge winner. I've been in business for 18 years. I've also just recently launched my new ADHD course for ADHD entrepreneurs who are looking to finally launch their business in 60 days or less and have a proven step-by-step system in order to do that. And it's a six-figure system, and I've used it to launch my six-figure business, and it will work if you do it. So I will drop that in the link below. You guys can check that out. It's really cheap and it is so powerful. So if you follow directions. So anyway, I talk about creativity, mindset, messy, beautiful reality of building a business on your own terms. So today we're going to kind of go deep. We're going to talk about the law of attraction, but not the Instagram version where you just think happy thoughts and money falls from the sky. We're talking about real, uncomfortable, oh no, like version. And a friend of mine, actually, we reconnected, and he was talking to me about how he's very big into the law of attraction. And he was talking about how there's a teacher, like Walsh, I think his last name is, that teaches like you have to get the exact opposite of what you want before you get exactly what you want. And a lot of people quit because they don't realize that. And I was like, that was so interesting because that has happened in my life. And so the version that holds up a mirror and it makes you actually face yourself is what we want to talk about today. I can't talk. So I'm going to go back to 2012. I've been doing cakes for several years, and at that point, since 2007 is when I started. I did my son's first birthday cake, and that was my first cake I ever did. It looked terrible, horrific. And I thought I was pretty good at setting boundaries. I thought I had a handle on my business. And then she walked in, and I won't say her name. She doesn't deserve the airtime, but this woman was what I can only describe as a full-time job disguised as a bride. She had opinions about everything. She changed her mind constantly. She was very wanted to talk me down in the terms of price, and wanted to get the sun and the moon and stars for like the cheapest price. And that should have been the red flag right there. She was disrespectful, condescending, and made me feel like absolutely just drained. Like I was beneath her, and she knew better than me. She also, gave me like a cake design, or didn't give me a cake design, but expected me to read her mind. And then as I tried to sketch out what she had basically tried to describe to me, she freaked out and said, "That's not what I want. Here's what I want." And she actually gave me the sketch that she had made. And she's like, if you're a true, artist, you should be able to read people's minds, basically, is what she was insinuating. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just give me the picture of what you want? But anyway, my point is, every literal interaction with her left me emotionally drained. Every phone call felt like a battle. She would text me late at night like I was her only client in life. And I remember dreading hearing from her. And so anyway, I completed the cake. I literally set her pictures as I was doing it. And I even told her beforehand, it's not going to look like waves. It's going to look like coral because it's a square cake and you don't want a round cake. And she was like, "No, I just want a square cake," and blah, blah, blah. Right. Anyway, I worked on the cake. I was so stressed. I was so anxious. I sent her, and she actually was happy with it. She's like, "Oh yeah, it looks good. It's actually really good. I'm really happy with it." And so anyway, drove to the DoubleTree, delivered the cake. set it up. She was there. She didn't even look at the cake. And then she proceeded to like act concerned because I was still there, even though the wedding wasn't going to start for another 45 minutes. I mean, we're talking about the ceremony. I always get there usually an hour in advance before the ceremony starts, not the actual, you know, if the ceremony's in the same place. But anyway, yeah, she was like, why are you still here? Like, it took you that long to set up the cake? I'm like, yeah, like your cake took a while to set up, but I mean, what's the problem? Like, you still have 45 minutes to go before. I mean, it's just bizarre. Anyway, I called the hotel the next day and I made sure everything went well. And the hotel wedding planner person or event planner said, everything went well as far as I know. Like, they ate the cake and they had a great time as far as I know. So I breathed a sigh of relief. And so anyway, a month later when I was actually moving from another part of Colorado, and it was so stressful, and I was actually working on a huge Jägermeister machine cake that actually poured. It's really cool. And that my client for that was amazing. She's like, oh, do whatever, I trust you, you know, and she was like, I have no budget. I mean, she was an amazing like contrast, right? It was a birthday cake. But it was huge. Anyway, I was so stressed. She texted me at like 10 o'clock at night telling me how the cake tasted great. She was happy about that, but she was not happy with the design because I was right. It didn't look like waves. And she had the audacity to tell me I threw it together in 5 minutes or something. And I'm like, you know, I worked on that cake all night before. And I had to make the topper before that and all this stuff. And she added all this stuff at the last minute because she wanted it for free and didn't want to pay. And then she tries to insinuate that she wants to work out a refund agreement, like for the full cake to be refunded to, because, and I said, first off, this is a month after you ate the cake. I called the hotel they said you had a great time and everybody loved the cake. And I don't know what to tell you. And the point was, you know, sorry, let me gather the bottom line is, for a long time, I blamed her fully, completely. She was the villain in my story. I was the victim. You know, I had to actually write a legal document. Thank God we had a contract and all that stuff. So I challenged her. I said, go ahead and take me to court. I said, they're just going to laugh in your face because they have the pictures of the cake. They have the evidence that it was eaten. You paid cash and you didn't even want to pay taxes under the table, which I was like, that was my mistake, that, you know, because you didn't want to pay taxes on the cake, which is, I said, so you've like shot yourself in the foot, you know? But yeah, for a long time I blamed her. And, you know, I would tell this story at parties and dinners and, you know, a vent to my friends, and I held on to anger like it was protecting me from something. But every time someone asked why I stopped doing cakes for a while, her face would like flash in my mind and that trauma would come up and I'd feel like this hot irritation all over again. But here's the thing. I wasn't wrong about her behavior. She was difficult, and I'm not here to gaslight myself or pretend she was secretly wonderful, and what she did was real, and the impact was real. But the question I wasn't asking myself was, why did I attract her? You know, what in me said yes to this? And that's the question that actually changed everything. So I want to talk about the law of attraction mirror principle. And it's basically the idea behind the law of attraction, that energy attracts like energy. Okay. So what you put out, you pull in. And most people hear that and think, well, think positive thoughts, get positive things, right? And sure, that's part of it. But the mirror principle goes deeper, and it says that people in situations that show up in your life, especially the difficult ones, are reflecting something back to you. Okay. So they're not random. They're not bad luck. They're mirrors to you. And so before you close the video, I'm not saying it's your fault when someone mistreats you. That's not what I'm saying here at all. But I'm saying because I just need to be clear about that. But what I am saying is that there's something to learn from who you attract, or who we attract, and why. And when I finally got quiet enough to ask myself these hard questions, here's what I found. At that point in my business, I had extremely weak boundaries. I did not have belief in myself. I was overgiving, undercharging, and saying yes when my gut was screaming no. And I will say this, my ex-husband, who at the time, like never really butted into my business, he actually told me, you should not mess with this woman. He's like, I just have a bad vibe. You should just give her money back and be done with her. And I was like, oh my God, like if he's saying this, because he doesn't ever like tell me what to do in my business, then it's probably bad. But the thing was, I was too close to the date, and I feel like I would totally screw her. And because she's never going to find anybody to make the cake that she wanted for as cheap. I mean, which again, such a terrible mindset that I had at that time. You know, I had a deep need for approval. I wanted every client to love me, love my work, validate me. And that energy, that's total insecurity. That is people pleasing. It acted like a beacon, you know? So she didn't create those things in me. She actually revealed them. And this brings me to something I really want to you to sit with today. We talk about the law of attraction, like the goal is that we only want to attract, you know, positive things, good clients, easy relationships, smooth paths, you know. We treat every negative experience like a failure, and like we did something wrong, and like the universe is punishing us. But I actually have a pretty different view of God, like that mainstream religion has. I actually believe God, universe, does give us evil at times to get us to learn, and we have to go through the evil at times to actually appreciate the good and have contrast, because that's what this time period is about. That's what I believe in my deepest self. And I believe that's what the scriptures teach too, but that I believe that God is, you know, a savior, and that he's going to reconcile the world. So I have a very positive view of God, but I also believe that God, universe, gives us evil at times because we have to have that contrast, and we can't learn any other way. We just can't. Like some people are just extra stubborn, or for whatever reason, they have to learn through going through evil. So, and so what if some of those things, that evil or whatever, and those hard things were exactly what we needed? You know, so think about it. How many times have you had a positive experience that fundamentally changed you? Not like inspired you, but truly changed you at your core in a way that redirected your whole life. Now think about the hard things, right? The losses, the failures, the difficult people, the moments that broke you open. Those are the ones that actually changed you. Those are the ones. If you really, really are honest with yourself, those are the things that really deeply change us. And there's actually research behind this. You know, psychologists call it post-traumatic growth. I won't go into the situation that happened to me back in 2001, but it was a very traumatic, terrible experience. But because of that, I won a Body for Life challenge. I was so hurt over the loss of a relationship at that time that I achieved like insane like things, and it was out of trauma for sure. But I actually surprised myself that I was like, I can do all this, because it drove me to want to be the best of the best. It's like kind of prove to this person what they lost. And I ended up proving to myself though later, like I was like, damn, I can get shit done, you know? And so this is a documented phenomenon where people go through really significant adversity and often come out with stronger relationships, deeper purpose, expanded perspective, and greater personal strength than they had before. And, you know, struggle, for example, when we actually move through it instead of staying stuck in it, is one of the most powerful growth mechanisms we can have. And so my bridezilla year was my post-traumatic growth moment, and I just didn't know it yet. So that year away from cakes forced me to ask the question, you know, do I actually want to keep doing this? What kind of business do I want? You know, what kind of clients do I want? What am I worth? I mean, I spent thousands and thousands of dollars and time and effort to learn these high-end skills, and I'm undercharging and attracting not what I want, obviously. And so will I tolerate this anymore? Like, what will I tolerate and what will I not? It forced me to ask these questions, you know? And so the answer is actually rebuilt my entire business model. I raised my prices. I started a real client consultation process. I created a contract that actually protected me better. I mean, I had a contract at the time, thank God, but I'm saying I touched up that contract and made sure it was tight. And I stopped taking every booking that came my way. I got selective, I got intentional, and the difficult client didn't destroy my business. So she was the catalyst that made it what it is today. And so I want to talk about the shift from victim to student. So how do you actually make this shift, right? Because I know it sounds like good in theory and, oh, this horrible person is actually a teacher, yes. But in the moment when you're angry and you're hurt and you're exhausted, it's really hard to reframe. And here's what worked for me and what I teach my coaching clients. First you need to feel the feelings fully. I am in I love Samantha. I can't pronounce her last name right now, but she teaches manuscripting, and I have her manuscripting journal, and I have like some of her programs, and she has like these sessions where people like let it all out and just get the rage out, and quiet, like in your own, obviously, like a confined space, a quiet space in your closet or something like that. But you've got to get all that out. You really do. And also the healing code works great if you don't want to just like beat up something like a pillow or whatever. But when you're angry and you're hurt and you're exhausted, it's really hard to reframe. So here's what worked for me. First, I feel the feelings fully. I let it all out. I don't skip this step. And you don't need to, you don't get to the lesson by bypassing the emotion. I was angry for a while, for a long time, and that's okay. But the problem isn't feeling angry. The problem is staying there so long that the anger becomes your identity around the situation. And it's almost like you're just trauma bonded and you just keep living it over and over and over again. And that we don't want that. And second, you're going to ask the mirror question, not what's wrong with them, but what is this showing about me? And what belief did I have that attracted this dynamic? What boundary did I not enforce? And where was I not being honest with myself or them? And so third, look for the gift. This one takes time though. It's not like an overnight thing. It might take months. It took me, well, not just months for me. It took me actually years, because I wasn't at this point in my life back then, not even close to where I am today. And it was a gift for not doing cakes that year, because it helped me pause and actually like really think about things. So you have to see the gift in the situation. It's there. It's there. You just have to be in the right place to see it. Okay. And process all that stuff first. And fourth is you're going to release the story. So this is the one that I had to work the hardest on. I had to consciously stop telling the bridezilla story as a wound, and I had to start telling it as a turning point, because the version of the story that you tell is the version that keeps you stuck or sets you free. And that is the truth. So the law of attraction isn't a magic vending machine where you put in positive thoughts and get out positive incomes. It's more of a feedback loop. It shows you where you are energetically, spiritually, emotionally, and sometimes where you are is in a place that needs to grow before it can receive what you actually want. So that bridezilla in 2012 was not a villain in my story. She's actually a messenger that I didn't want to receive at the time. And I spent years being mad at the messenger instead of reading the message, right? And the message was, you are worth more than this, and so build accordingly. And I did. I did. I changed everything that year, or the next year. So I want to ask you, is there someone in your life, past or present, that you've been blaming for something? A client, a partner, a friend, a family member, whatever. And what if instead of asking, why did they do this to me, you got quiet and you asked, what is this mirroring back to me? And so drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to read every one. And if this resonated with you, definitely, like and subscribe. And I mean, I hate that when people say that, like and subscribe, but definitely I want to bring more helpful content to the world. And also, lastly, I did launch my ADHD course for ADHD entrepreneurs called Pause, Regulate, and Reset. And Pause, Regulate, and Launch. But it's basically a reset, and it's a 60-day program that actually teaches you how, step by step, how to launch your business or offer in 60 days or less if you have had, a graveyard of unfinished ideas like most of the ADHD people that I know. And so it gets you to actually be able to isolate the one thing and then finally launch that offer so that you can finally finish, and even if it's not successful, guess what? The fact that you finished is going to help you so much, like it did me. And because we really want to finish things, but we're terrible at it. And so we need structured programs and courses and even I'm like my mastermind and accountability to be able to do that, or even just someone observing us. So anyway, I'm going to drop that in the link or in the section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing week. Bye-bye.